Okay, so Root and his team are going to activate this time-stopping machine that they have. Lieutenant Cudgeon checked his moonometer. You have 8 hours. I know how much time I have, growled Root. And stop following me. Don't you have work to do? Actually, now that you mention it, I have a bio-bomb to arm. Root rounded on him. Don't annoy me, Lieutenant. Having you pass comments at every turn is not improving my concentration. Just do whatever it is you feel you have to do, but be prepared to back it up at a tribunal. If this one goes wrong, heads are going to roll. Indeed, muttered Cudgeon under his breath, but mine is not going to be one of them, meaning it's Root. Root checked the sky. A shimmering... to recap, actually, because I have to recap for myself, because it was 2 days ago since I read to you. The worry is that Artemis is always one step ahead of them because he has the fairy book, so he knows all about their strategies and their technologies, and so Foley, he's worried. He's worried that Artemis is expecting them to do this, and that therefore they shouldn't do it. Anyway, just to recap there for you, if you needed that. I'm sure you're well aware of what's going on. Root checked the sky. A shimmering azure field had descended over the foul estate. Good. They were in limbo. Outside the walls, life continued at an exaggerated pace, but if anyone were to somehow gain access to the manor, in spite of the fortified walls and high gate, they'd find it deserted, all occupants trapped in the past. So for the next 8 hours, it would be twilight on the foul estate. After that, Root could not guarantee Holly's safety. Given the gravity of the situation, it was more than likely that Cudgeon would get the go-ahead to bio-bomb the whole place. Root had seen a blue rinse before. No living thing escaped, not even the rats. So a bio-bomb, just to remind you, is a device that the fairies have that destroys only living things. Everything else is left intact, completely intact. But it would mean if they used the biobomb that Holly wouldn't survive, obviously, because she's a living thing. And if you remember that when it comes to making a decision about whether fairies get harmed, thinking is that it's far more important that the humans, that us, the mud people, that we don't learn about the ways of the fairies. That's far more dangerous, and that takes precedence over the life of one fairy. Root caught up with Foley at the base of the North Tower. The Centaur had parked a shuttle by the metre-thick wall. Already the work area was a mess of tangled wires and pulsating fibre optics. Foley, are you in here? The Centaur's foil-capped head emerged from the belly of a disemboweled hard drive. Over here, Commander. You've come to push a button with my face, I presume? Root almost laughed. Don't tell me you're looking for an apology, Foley. I've already used my quota for today, and that was to a lifelong friend. Cudgeon? Forgive me, Commander, but I wouldn't waste my apologies on the Lieutenant. He won't be wasting any on you when he stabs you in the back. You're wrong about him. Cudgeon's a good officer. A bit eager, certainly, but he'll do the right thing when the time comes. The right thing for himself, maybe, said Foley. I don't think Holly is at the top of his priority list. Root didn't answer. He couldn't. And another thing. I have a sneaking suspicion that young Artemis Fowl wanted us to stop time. After all, everything else we've tried has played straight into his hands. Root rubbed his temples. Well, that's impossible. How could a human know about time stoppage. Anyway, this is no time for theorising, Foley. I've less than 8 hours to clean up this mess. So, what have you got for me? Foley clopped over to an equipment rack clamped to the wall. Well, no heavy armament, that's for sure. Not after what happened to Retrieval 1. No helmet either. That beast of a mudman seems to collect them. No, to show good faith, we're going to send you in unarmed and unarmoured. Root snorted. What manual did you get this from? Standard operating procedure. Fostering trust speeds communication. Oh, stop quoting and give me something to shoot. Suit yourself, sighed Foley, selecting what looked like a finger from the rack. What's that? It's a finger. What does it look like? It looks like a finger, admitted Root. Yes, but not an ordinary finger. He glanced around to make sure that no one was watching. The tip contains a pressurized dart. One shot only. You tap the knuckle with your thumb and someone goes sleepy by. Why haven't I seen this before? Well, it's a covert kind of thing. And, said Root suspiciously, well, there have been accidents. Tell me, Foley. Our agents keep forgetting they have it on. What, meaning they shoot themselves? Foley nodded miserably. One of our best sprites was picking his nose at the time. 3 days on the critical list. Root rolled the memory latex onto his index finger, where it immediately assumed the shape and flesh tone of the host digit. Don't worry, Foley. I'm not a complete idiot. Anything else? Foley unhooked what appeared to be a false bottom from the equipment rack. You're not serious. What does that do? Nothing, admitted the centaur, but it gets a great laugh at parties. Root chuckled. Twice. That was a major lapse for him. Okay, levity over, meaning the joking's over. You going to wire me? Naturally. 1 iris cam. What colour? He peered into the commander's eyes. Mud brown. He selected a small vial from the shelf and removed the electronic contact lens from a fluid capsule. Plucking Root's eyelid with thumb and forefinger, he slotted in the iris cam. That might irritate you. Try not to rub it, or it could end up in the back of your eye. Then we'd be looking into your head. And there's nothing interesting in there, heaven knows. Root blinked, resisting the urge to knead his watering eye. So this is a camera that fits onto your eye so that Foley and the rest of the team can see what Root is looking at. That's it? Foley nodded. That's all we dare risk. The commander agreed reluctantly. His hip felt very light without a tri-barreled blaster dangling from it. Okay, I suppose this amazing dart finger will have to do. Honestly, Foley, if this blows up in my face, you'll be on the next shuttle back to Haven. The centaur sniggered. Yeah, just be careful in the toilet. Root didn't laugh. There were some things you didn't joke about. I'm not going to explain that joke. You can probably work it out. Artemis's watch had stopped. It was as though Greenwich wasn't there anymore. Or perhaps, mused Artemis, we're the ones who have disappeared. He checked CNN. It had frozen. A picture of Riz Khan jittered slightly on the screen. Artemis could not hold back a satisfied smile. They had done it, just like the book said. The LEP had stopped time, all according to plan. Time to check out a theory. Artemis wheeled over to the monitor bank and punched up the MAM cam on the 70-centimetre main monitor. Angeline Fowle was no longer on the chaise longue. Artemis panned around the room. It was empty. His mother had gone, disappeared. His smile widened. Perfect. Just as he'd suspected. Artemis switched his attention to Holly Short. She was banging the bed again. Occasionally she would rise from the mattress, pounding the wall with her bare fists. Maybe it was more than frustration. Could there be method in her madness? He tapped the monitor with a slim finger. What are you up to, Captain? What's your little plan? He was distracted by a movement on the Avenue monitor. At last, he breathed. The games begin. A figure was advancing down the avenue. Small, but imposing nonetheless. Unshielded too. Finished play acting then. Artemis punched the intercom button. Butler, we have a guest. I'll show him in. You get back here and police the surveillance cameras. Butler's voice came back tinny through the speaker. 10-4 Artemis. On my way. End of part 1.